it's live now.
Good. Hello, everyone. We greet you from the most southern country in the world. We are the OWASP Chile chapter. And then I show you our work in the last 10 years. My name is Carlos Allendez, and I am the founder, one of the founder, and the current leader of the chapter, which by a happy coincidence, we are celebrating 10 years in this month. In our history, a little history, we have from 2010 to from 10 years of work, we have 22 Chilean communities alliance. We have people in 10 cities, over 1,000 of attendees last year to our talks, 8 universities alliance, and 2 radio media programs habitually in our community. For us, it's a happy coincidence in our 10th anniversary to be part of the team that helped to make Takaharu idea a reality. Hence, we are at his disposal to contribute in any way possible. And we are very proud to be part of this activity, which clearly enhances motivation and send a message, a model for many volunteers to follow, not only in our country, but around the world. For several years in this chapter, we have hard work and trying to decentralizing and supporting gender parity, always promoting the same quantities, the male and female in all our activities. This is why today our talk has 2 speakers, Silvia and Oscar. They will present this talk called "Is Your Cell Phone Your Friend or Your Enemy?" This is a really interesting and current topic. The specialist who has the most experience in this subject is my colleague and friend, Oscar Orellana, Master in Cybersecurity. He will give us some insight about these attacks and ways to mitigate them. At the same time, a great friend and collaborator in technology activities, Silvia Arias, who is a university professor and project manager in several science conferences and exhibitions in Chile, will contribute with her own point of view of this topic and presenting some questions and doubts that we may all have. I will thank you very much for your attention and leave you with Silvia Arias, who will introduce our talk.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you very much. And yes, so this is the question for us today. Is your phone your enemy or your friend? And this question arises from the fact that the current situation that everybody is living today is very special. It's never seen before in this century. We know that cell phones in this case are being used, or mobile devices in general are being used more than ever, because of education, because of business purposes, because of work. People are using their phones more than ever, and we need to make sure that the use that we give to our phone is a safe use, and that's the biggest thing, don't you think, Oscar?
Yeah, Sylvia, and hi everyone, and we're really thankful for the OWASP organization for give us an opportunity to speak with people about what it means. What it means is that if your cell phone it's your enemy or not. Maybe maybe your phone is your friend. Maybe the enemy. It's something it happened inside of your phone. I think that this is one question that is really common in these days, especially because we are talking about the things that we must care. And with the COVID, we have the biggest problem. Especially because we use the phone more than ever. So I think that this is one of the questions that we have to make more than the past days. So, and what do you think about it, Sylvia?
Well, I think also this is something important. Maybe the your phone is not your enemy, but you are your own enemy when you don't know how to use your phone properly. So we're going to discuss today some aspects that we need to take into consideration, and we really hope you enjoy it and you take these things into consideration.
Yes, of course. And as we said, and one thing that we have in consideration, it's what that means APK. APK is things that is running to your phone. What it is? Do you remember?
APK stands for applications that you can download in your phone, but it stands for applications that you download in your Android phones and not iOS. Is that correct?
Yes, because we have to use the applications in running in the different ways. And one of these ways, when you're using an Android device, you are using the APK. APK, it's uh, Android devices inside running the applications that run inside. And why is it calling APK? Because the extension of the application in Android devices it's that APK. So this is what we call APK.
So we're going to focus on APKs today.
Yes, and today
APKs.
we
Okay.
focus on APKs. Yes,
Okay.
because we are trying to find why the phone can be our enemy. And in this case, Android is one of the most used operating system in the market. So today we will speak about the Android running. So in this case, OWASP have a mobile top 10. Do you remember anything about mobile top 10?
Yes. OWASP Mobile Top 10 is a report outlining security concerns for mobile applications. It focuses on the 10 most critical risks, and there you have them on the screen. You can see that this OWASP Mobile Top 10 has been updated in 2016. Even though it's 2016, you may think it's like 4 years ago. It's really updated, and all of these risks are presented even today. Yes. They go from 1 to 10. All of them are important. A breach in any of these top 10, it's a dangerous breach. And most importantly, when we talk about APKs in Android, most of those APKs are for free. So we tend to trust because they've been presented to us, but we need to make sure that we know how to interpret these mobile top 10s in applications. How can we do that? How can we put this OWASP mobile top 10s into practice?
Yes, it's sometimes it's some things that we don't know as a users why we use this kind of top 10. Um, this is really important because sometimes we have to think that what it mean one of them and in which way they running inside in our phone and why this mobile top 10 it will be really scary in sometimes. So um, we have to make an analysis and I think maybe I remember that we use sometimes one tool. and the name was Mobs. What means mobs? Mobs, it's a tool that we use for making mobile analysis. It means mobile security framework. It's running inside to Firefox. Most of the people use in Linux, and you can upload and analyze in a static and a dynamic way. So in this case, we are trying to analyze one of these application, and in this case, we have yeah. Yeah, we have the analyze. We must to see that we have a lot of information about about the target, about the activities, the service, the revices, the download Java. We must know that the signers certificate, and we must know many things about the permissions that are running inside to the application. And this is running into the application in the static way, but we must to see also what going on with dynamic analysis. So in the in other way, we must find the IPCAP files and the activities and the manifest analysis. And in the manifest analysis, we must try to find the severity and the description of the issues. So this is a very good tool for make analysis. And then when we try to find the code and the URL and malware checks, and we can also find the mobile top 10 with the mobs. And then this tool is really useful when you are trying to find something. Maybe if you want to analyze the APK, if you want to try to analyze something for malwares, and you can analyze iOS and Windows Phone also. Okay, but I think then maybe I'm wrong, but I think that we made an analysis another day. Do you remember anything about it,
Yes.
Sylvia?
Yes, we analyzed an app that's called Edifito, and that's used by business administrators here in Chile, right? Administrators use this app in order to communicate with people renting apartments, or maybe the owners of some apartments in the building compound. The kind of information that is exchanged in this app, it's a lot. It's a lot of information. And what was really interesting about this app is that when we analyzed it, we didn't find any malware. Remember that?
Yes, I remember that we did not find any malware, but I think that if the malware is not inside, so this is really good.
Mm,
It's a very good, very nice application. So maybe we must stop here.
that's the
No?
trick. That's the trick. No,
Yeah?
no, no, we cannot stop here.
No?
The application didn't present any malware, but the problem were the permissions that were granted or that were requested by the app. We had some very dangerous permissions that people who are not aware of the dangers that are going on within apps like this can fall really quick into problems. So we have to pay attention to these permissions. One
Yes?
of the permissions that really caught my attention, and we discussed this because this is, I mean, we actually talked about all the situations that can happen with these
Yes.
permissions granted. And we said, for example, what happens when an app requires permission to read and write over my contacts on my mobile device?
Yes, this is for me really, really scary for one way, because I think that you have to be maybe I'm a little scared person, but what happened if someone tried to make me CEO fraud? and change the name of my boss inside to my phone and
Mm.
call me, hey Oscar, I'm your boss and I need urgently that
This
you put
information.
money, yes, change the money for another account. And okay, it's my boss, so I have to do it. So
Mm.
I think that it's many things that these people can do it inside in our phones that sometimes it's a
Mm.
little bit scared. So
Yes.
um, I think that this kind of opportunity things that attackers can have, and sometimes I remember that you said me, what happened if my mother called me? What do you think about it? Yeah,
Yes,
they remember this.
I mean, we went over different scenarios about what can happen, and we were saying, okay, what if someone writes over my mom's contact and they change the number, but I'm not aware of it, and then I think my mom's calling and she's saying, I'm in trouble, come and get me, send me some money, or I've been kidnapped. That happens all the time, and I think one of the main points here is that we need to we need to let people know that these kind of permissions that are required or requested by apps are not normal permissions. I mean, why would Edifito want my contact information? That has nothing to do with the use of the app. So you have to be alert. You have to be careful with that, right?
Yes, of course. And in the mobile top 10, what thing that you can tell us about mobile top 10?
Yes, in the static analysis of this app, we identified the presence of three mobile top 10 situations going on. The one that, I mean, all of them are important, definitely. The first one was reverse engineering, which is the one you identify with M9. The second one is being presented on the slide is insufficient cryptography. And the next one is insecure data storage. But my question is, and here I need your help, why do we
Yes.
have cryptography presented in this analysis twice? And why is it so important?
It is so important because if some attackers can see your communication, if this is without cryptography, he can read anything that you write. So for me, it's really matters about it. In one way, you have a random number generation, the random number generation, it's a number that it's obviously generation with random technology, so you don't know which number it is. But if you don't have sufficient cryptography, it's insufficient. Maybe this the attacker can be take this number. This is really scary because sometimes with this number he can decrypt many things. And the other way, it's in insufficient cryptography with MD5, but MD5 with a hash collision. A hash collision. It's not usual in the computer science, but we have in many times these things. In this, the hash collision in this case must be really careful because with the hash collision we can decrypt anything, and I think that it's obviously in my mind also the insufficient data storage. Do you remember anything about the data storage?
It can access my data, basically. I mean, you have any kind of permission that is granted related to the storage that you have on your mobile device. It's really dangerous, and it can be accessed from, I mean, from different kinds of analysis.
Yeah, yeah, but maybe we have to talk. This is happening when we analyze in a static way. So
Mm.
we don't run the application until now, but
Mhm.
maybe we must pass to the dynamic analysis. And with the dynamic analysis, we have the phone. And why we have the phone in the dynamic analysis? Can you
Well,
enlighten us?
to carry out dynamic analysis, you need your phone operating and running, and you need the app that you're analyzing running on the phone to see what are the consequences of having that application running on your phone.
Yes, this is one of the things that we must to do if we want to make analysis for the application. Why? Because in one way we can see the application in the static, the manifesto, and then we speak about it, and the other thing that the permission that they have and whatever. But we need to know if the application really do the things that you see in the static way. So
Mhm.
maybe we are trying to find something. And do you remember anything about it?
I do remember that something really important for the dynamic analysis is the logcat. The
Yeah.
logcat presents us with information that happens from one point in time to the other. Is that correct? I mean, I know
Yes.
what's going on inside the phone from one point in time till the other, and but it includes all the activity that's going on inside the mobile device.
Yes, inside the mobile device, you have logcat, and this logcat then mobs use. It's what going on inside to the phone. It's not going on only the application, and now we have got what's going on inside to the phone. What permission is running
Mm.
when the phone connect with the application, and anything you can find inside to the logcat. And this is you have to be in your mind when you trying to analyze these kind of things. So in this case, the application, if you can to see the application in some process they connect to GPS, and I don't know why connect to GPS, and connect also your contact. So we must see in this moment that the application is already done the thing that we scare and we talk about. So I think that we have to give a little more permissions, or maybe do you remember yeah, sorry, I have something in mind.
Hmm.
Eh,
What is it?
and it is then if you have logcat, maybe mobs can listen the conversation, and this was the name. Do you
Of man in
remember?
the middle. Man in the
Man in the middle
middle.
attack. Yes,
Yes.
man in the
I mean,
middle attack.
people are not really aware of the dangers that are attached to the apps that they download, not only in their mobile devices, but also in their, I don't know, any kind of, I mean, not only in their cell phones, but also in any kind of mobile device. And the man in the middle attack implies that someone, an attacker, can hear or read a conversation between two or more devices. Imagine what that could do to your everyday life. You have some examples of men in the middle attacks. Do you remember? You mentioned them before.
Yes, if it's someone are trying to listen your communication, maybe it's someone trying to intercept the communication between two or more devices, and with this communication, you must see many things inside to the devices. So I think that if you don't have cryptography, maybe he can read in plain text
Mm.
everything. So
Yeah,
in the case
I'm
of
sorry.
mob, yes,
I'm sorry. Something that I want to mention is that in men in the middle attack, uh, an attacker can hear or read your conversation, but also can take advantage of that and impersonate one of the people exchanging information. That has happened before. So instead of Sylvia talking to Oscar, there is another person impersonating me and telling you, Oscar, now you know what, deposit the money into this account better. And you think it's me and it's not me. And it has happened that people have realized about those kinds of attacks months later. when
Yes.
they talk months later.
Yes, in one way or another, YouTube it's the man in the middle attack for us because YouTube it's listen our conversation, it's listen.
Right.
It's so this is a kind of thing that maybe all the person that are follow this slides, this presenting, they can see the presentation, and in one way or another, they are our man in the middle attack. But
Mm.
what happened? But in this case, we want to talk with other people. But what going on if you don't want the people know what you or with you are talking? This is a little bit scary because in sometimes the spear phishing, the others attackers begins with the man in the middle attacks because I have the information about my
Mm.
target. I try to find whatever, maybe how to go and speak with you, or maybe I want to supplant yourself. So if I want to do this, I have to uh, give information. I need information from you. So this is really important in one way or another. And the other, for the other side, um, we have the dynamic analysis, and in this case, we are seeing how the attacker it's in our conversation. At the first, we have the request, and then we have the response. So in this case, what do you think then it's happening inside of this?
Well, it's actually reading a lot of information that has not cryptography, because you can see the information. You can actually see names, you can see last names, you can see apartment numbers, maybe extra information related to people living in those apartments as well.
Yes, yes. So, what's going on here? We don't have cryptography because I
Mm.
can read in text in plain text. Um, Maybe this is the thing that we talk about at the beginning when we speak about the things that can running inside our phone. So, um, do you think that this is really happened with Edifito?
I mean, I don't think so. I know it happened because we
Yeah.
analyzed it.
Yes.
The problem is that this is happening not only with Edifito and that app, but a lot of different apps that people are not aware of the risks.
Yes. And one of the things that we have M2, M5, and 9 we find in Edifito. Do you remember the slide when we talk
Yes,
about the mobile top 10 inside to the Edifito?
yes. Now this is one of the most remarkable slides of the analysis of this app, because we can actually see in through dynamic analysis the presence of the mobile top 10 from OWASP. For example, we said that M2 was insecure data storage. You have an example in that slide. M5 was the lack of cryptography, insufficient cryptography. There you have it. And the last one, the M5, was reverse engineering. If people could actually read the slide, well, we intended that people couldn't read the slide, evidently, because it's dangerous. But if people could actually see, it would actually read full conversations of many people involved in this building in particular, the people who are living in this particular building using this particular app. Can you give us examples of how these top 10 mobile top 10 from OWASP are present in this slide?
Of course, Sylvia.
Okay.
Oh, this is why we are here. Yes, and in one way or another, we have the M2. Why the M2? The M2 is insecure data storage. The insecure data storage means that the applications have an insecure storage. in two ways. One way it's in himself, and the other way it's they can store something inside to the maybe to the inside to the phone. But in this case, we have the information of all of the neighborhood. Not only the date we ask, we have information about the past. So in this case, we're seeing the data storage. It's really bad because we have a lot of conversations. Because I made one request, they answer me many things than I don't answer. So in my question, for in my request, I only want to know what's going on with one conversation in myself, but the response was a lot of conversation, then I don't really want to know. So and obviously, and I really need to know. So imagine then, if attacker want to know what I speak with the administration, what kind of word that I use. It's a social engineering in one way to another also. So um, we must to be careful because in this kind of things we are seeing this kind of particular this is why this M2, because it's really dangerous if the applications have a particular uh, bad data storage. And in the other side, we have M5. The M5 we see twice, but in this case we must see that is everything is without cryptography.
Mm,
And if you see the conversation in plain text, maybe the attacker can see anything than you are trying to speak with. So if you have a bad data storage, but if you have cryptography, maybe the attacker, yeah, it's you are making the things more difficult to the
yes.
attacker. But but if this is in the plain text, you are doing the things really sad, because the attackers not only have your information, they have in plain text. And I think that this is one of the scary things when they have in the plain text.
Yeah.
And obviously the M9 was reverse engineering, and in this case we can use reverse engineering because we must see our names inside. We must see our mails, of course. We must see our identification number inside to the application. So we have a lot of information. Imagine that you have only one slide. Imagine if you have all of the slides that we saw in
Mm,
the dynamic analysis. Maybe you will be more scared than now. But this is really really bad, especially for attackers. I think that
yeah.
we have to be careful about it. This is one
Now,
of the things. Yep.
this is I'm sorry. This is something really important that OWASP here in Chile has been trying to do, and is to educate people. I mean, we need to let people know the risks that they can go through when downloading apps. Now, what I think it's really important to mention is that probably the admin, I mean, very likely the administrator of the building required that people living in the building download this app, and maybe the administrator has no idea the risks that this app involves. So
Yes.
we need to help people to overcome those risks and to be smarter, like think why this app required this permission. It has nothing to do with why I downloaded the app. So it's too risky, I shouldn't download it. But we humans are tempted, and we
Yeah, one of the biggest problem that we saw with the application, it's sometimes the people look the word free. Ah, it's free,
Yeah,
it's good. But if the things are free, it's because you are the target.
it,
Um,
it
you
happens a
have to
lot
be,
with Android apps. Most of them are free for free. In
yes.
iOS, then you have to pay for some of them, but in Android, most of the apps are for free.
Yes, but you have to be careful also because not all of the things that are free, it's bad.
Yeah.
But you have in the free applications uh, many problems, and the other problems is that the people sometimes download applications, not even the Google Play. They download for any other places, so this is dangerous also. You have to use the Google Play Store. You have to the iTunes Store use of course also.
Yeah, but it happens a lot that, especially, I speak for myself. I'm not. What is the concept? Um, I wasn't born with a cell phone on my hand. I was born in 1981, so I have to be really aware of what I'm doing with my phone. But there are some other people that that were born with a cell phone in their hand, so they're kind of skilled. But older people, maybe me, maybe my sisters, maybe my mother, my friends who are the same age, click on things just because they seem interesting. We're going to check on some tips now that can help people, you know,
Yes, of course
be careful
we
with
have
what
to.
they do with their phones.
Yes, and why we speak about to take into account, because in OWASP we think that it's really important to as you said, to teach the people how to use the technology in a good way. You have to think that someone else said. Uh, if you think that the technology will resolve your problems, it's because you don't understand the technology and you don't understand your problem. So if you want to do something with technology, try to do this with the security. So in this case, we must just speak about some tips. One of the tips that I speak about, it's which one?
Phone overheating. Now, this is really interesting because most of the time we tend to think that the phone overheating is because the charger has a problem. Like the charger is not working properly. Maybe the electric connection is not working properly. But this may be a sign that your phone may be interfered. Maybe.
Yes, sometimes when your phone is overheating, it's because some application is running and you don't know.
Mm,
Why this is important? Because it's like if you are going to walk. If you walk, you'll be tired, but if you run, you'll be tired more. But what happens if you don't know that you are running? This is the problem, because the problem here is not the overheating itself. It's maybe because it's some applications are running without your knowledge, and this
mm.
is you have to be careful. So you have to be careful, but it doesn't mean that someone is attacking you, but you have to be careful of it. You have to be
Pay
worried about it,
attention to it.
and
Yes.
yes, to pay attention. And in the only way you have to pay attention, it's the low battery. Why it's low battery? Do you
Well,
remember?
I think it's a direct consequence from the first picture you showed. More apps are running, you don't know they're running, so they're consuming a lot of more energy from your phone.
Yes, yes. You have to take into account this specific point, because if your cell phone overheating, or this your cell phone with low battery, specific if you maybe. yeah, it's usual. The battery have to be low in one time. This, and you have to connect to the energy. But if the battery usually you're doing for maybe one day, and in you don't know why the battery is during a half day, you have to be careful of it, because it's the same way as you said. It's the same way than a low battery and the phone overheating. And for the other side, it's maybe adware. Do you remember anything? The
Yes, I
adware?
think we can connect this to something that we mentioned before. Like when you download apps, you have to download apps from a Google storage, I mean, Google Market or Android Market. And sometimes ads that appear in our phones, uh, like they kind of trick us into clicking on them. And if you click on them, then you can download things to your mobile devices. So you have to be careful.
Yes, yes, because you must see in your phone many adwords. Sometimes, not adwords, it's coming with malwares. But if in one day to the other you have many adwords in your phone that you don't know why you have this adwords in your phone, you have to be careful on it, because maybe it's someone of your application have permission uh, to your microphone, and they know what do you want, and they put you an adware inside to your screen. Sometimes, and it is the things that you have to be careful on it, because
Mm.
you have to um, try to make some kind of interpretation what going on inside to the phone. And this sometimes is really difficult, because we don't know if it's real or not. But if you think that it can be true or not true, maybe it's better than you take a look on it. And for the other side, someone
Now,
calling you.
this is interesting. So it has happened. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are going to feel identified with this. Like when you say, "Where did they get my phone number? Where did that person get my phone number? Or that company got my phone number?" Um, this is a long time, not long time ago, some time ago, people sold databases. Databases were sold between companies. Falabella sold something to someone else, or I said Falabella, but it could have been any company. Um, but today, people can get that specific information, like your email, your phone number, your bank account, where you got your bank account, from applications. And as we said before, in insufficient data storage, when we identify that mobile top 10, when apps can override or can read your contacts, they can access a lot of information from you. It's not only the names that you have on your contacts. You may think like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I have nobody important in my contacts, but it's what other people can do with that information, the problem.
Yeah, yeah. And also the problem is, mm, in the coronavirus, you have to be in your home,
Yeah.
because if you go to the other side and you have contact with other people, maybe you can do something bad for the other or for yourself. Okay,
Hmm.
but if someone are listened or seen which contact do you have inside your phone, sometimes the big enterprise use this information for calling to your contacts. So
Mm.
you have to be careful with yourself, and you have to be careful with the person that you love. So
Yeah.
this is important. Then you have mix, you have to be careful on you, and you have to be careful with your family, with your friends. And this is a thing that maybe can happen if someone can read your contact, because maybe I don't want call to you, but maybe I want to call to offer maybe a bank account, your mother. Yeah, I am. You are the mother Sylvia. This is the name Sylvia. Give you give us your phone. We are contact with you because we are trying to introduce yourself inside our company or our bank or whatever it is. This is really important. That you have to care about the applications. Cannot read the this kind of things inside. And for the other side, we must see this one. I think that this is important also.
And this is something that we have mentioned several times before, like
Yes.
when apps are running and you don't know they're running, you think you have closed them, you think that you have, put them into sleep mode, but they're not.
Yes. Yes. As you see in this picture, and I know that we speak a lot of this, but one of the things that we have in our cell phone, it's then really, really, you have to be careful what kind of application is running inside your phone. And this is why I think that uh, an opportunity, and we have to be careful. We have to try for making the things better. For inside, they said me, then we have questions.
Yes,
So
we do.
yes,
Let
yes.
me help
Can
you
you
with
read?
that, okay? Yeah,
Yes,
let me
please
help
help
you.
me. Yes,
VJ asks, he says, Oscar, I have a question.
yes,
Each app runs on separate sandbox.
yeah.
If a client uses non-rooted device, the app he's using is storing the data in an internal storage like SharePrefs, DB, etc. Here, how can a malicious app be able to enter sandbox of the client storage?
Yeah, the thing is, we have to separate in two things. The first one, it's the mostly of now Android use more sandbox than in the older times. So the sandbox, it's working like virtual machines inside to the phone. So um, this is really important because sometimes this sandbox cannot speak with one with other, but if we give permissions to the sandbox, maybe he can this sandbox can speak with the other one. So it's the same than we are speaking here in YouTube, but maybe if we shut down YouTube, nobody can listen our conversation. But if we give permission to YouTube listen our conversation, YouTube can show us my conversation. This is the one way that in the separate sandbox it's really important. Um, the routed device, it's I don't think that it's a good idea to root device because you have a root permissions, and maybe an application can run with root permission. And I know that this is not for today, but it's a little bit dangerous in one way or another, because we have some forensic techniques, and then we can use inside the phone. That this is more dangerous, obviously. And ask your question, then the client storage M2, we must just see the storage in two ways. One way is which things then storage inside to your phone, and the other hand, it's these things, it's storage inside to the application. Okay. What it means, it means then as you see in our presentation, We have a slide, then we have conversation the few months ago. So in this case, I don't have this conversation inside to my phone, but the application have the storage in a bad way inside his storage. So um, why I make the difference, because some application have storage, bad storage inside our phone, and the other hand you have bad storage inside to the application also, and this we have to be in separate ways, but it happens in the both ways. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know if I am clear with this.
VJ. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know.
I I think something that we need to highlight is that, and we discussed this when we were preparing this presentation. The key concept here is to prevent, to teach
Yes.
people about the use of their mobile devices, not only cell phones, because we know mobile devices, are varied. We need to prevent, and that is something that we try to do in cybersec, which is the conference that I work on. We try to teach people and to help them understand the risks, the new risks, not only for business purposes, not only for big companies, but also for people who are working on those companies. We were talking about the use of mobile devices more than ever in the last couple of months because of COVID-19. People are connecting from home using a lot of Wi-Fi connections. We know that the risks are, very big. We have heard of a lot of cyber attacks in the past, what, couple of days?
Yes, in a couple
You
of
know,
days, yes, it was in Chile. The ransomware attack to Claro, ransomware attack the banks also. This is a little bit scary, especially because in one way or another we are using bring your own device into
mm,
the our
work
in
every
our
day.
work.
Mm,
Bring your own devices. You can find in a 27 key ISO. As a
so
finishing, we are really
yes,
thank you for
and
all of you.
and we want to be emphatic by telling people that you should inform yourselves. This is not a language that you cannot talk. You can actually learn about apps. You can actually learn to be careful with the apps you have. You can share, exchange information. You can look for information online about what are the risks of some apps, etc., etc. Like, uh, be prepared and be responsible. That's
Yes,
the
of
main
course.
thing.
Yes, this is really important. Yeah, and I thank you for all of the people. Thanks, Vijay, for the question. And thanks, and follow the next presentation because we have 24 hours insane. And thank you, Asadine. Thank you,
Thank
Takaharu,
you,
uh,
thank you very
Sylvia.
much, Oscar and
Yeah.
Sylvia.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Yeah,
very much.
Sylvia.
Asdin.
Yeah, Sylvia was really nice to work with you. And follow us in our social media, LinkedIn and Twitter, and we must help in anything that we can.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you very very much. Thank you, Vijay, for your question,
Thank you, Asdin.
and stay connected in our YouTube channel, OWASP YouTube channel. We will broadcast soon the next presentation from Egypt chapter, and after next my presentation.
Yeah,
Because
Yay!
because because Egypt have only 13 minutes, so he give me 13 minutes to present my talk. Okay, thank you.
thank
Good.
you very much,
Thank you,
Asadine.
Asdin.
Bye
Thank
See
bye.
you.
you. See you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye bye.